that we have for the event. Let's dive into what we actually have for the discussion. Now, developing your desired career takes time, patience, training, and keeping a positive mindset is very important when we are, in that mindset. Now, whether you are at the beginning of your career or have been in your industry for years, there are always opportunities for growth and improvement. Many of us think that to advance in our careers, we have to jump jobs every few years. But in reality, chances are your current job offers various opportunities, roles that you haven't tapped into at all. If you're confident in your abilities and want to take a bigger leap forward, you have to embrace new challenges, more responsibilities, and of course, expand your skills with time. Gender equality and getting more women in leadership roles, especially in tech industry, is a pressing matter, which we're still sort of looking at. The number of women in tech roles has been declining steadily over the years, but as we try and climb up and we try and compensate the numbers here, we still see lack of women mentors and the role models that actually we can look at for various growth opportunities as compared to men. Now, in a study of GitHub users, they found that code written by women was accepted 78.6% of the time, which was 4% more than those written by men. Now, this is not gender bias, but just a stat that I want to throw to everybody that when it comes to intelligence, we are no less. Now, this goes to show that women are, of course, better coders, but not perceived as that. Now, that being said, I'm here with some women coders, some women techies, I should say, who are joining me to give you the best piece of advice that will elevate your career. Please join me in welcoming Deepika Sandeep, Director R&D, Honeywell Technology; Priya Dandapani, Senior Director, Software Engineering, Sabre; Priyadarshini Ramasubramaniam, Engineering Director, Tesco; Shailaja Mishra, Associate Vice President, Product Management and Strategic Nucleus Software; and Srilata Kulkarni, Head of Data Warehouse and Data and Analytics at Merck's. Now, ladies, before we start with the questions, I would like to inform everybody that some of our guest speakers are facing some technicalities, in terms of joining the session. So, Deepika, if you're there on the audio mode, could you please confirm? I would like to start with you.
Yes, Sukriti, I'm on.
Okay. So before I actually go and hit the questions here, I would like to have a quick round of introduction from each one of you. Deepika, why don't you start?
Sure. Thank you, Sukriti. Hi, everyone. I'm Deepika. I lead the AI function for Honeywell's building automation business. Our focus today is to use AI as the technology enabler to make buildings sustainable and autonomous. Thanks to TechGig team for having me. Glad to be here today. Looking forward to hearing perspectives from leaders from the other industry segments as well and sharing thoughts and views on this topic. Sorry, I'm facing a bit of a technical glitch with my video today. Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you, Deepika. Thank you so much. Priya.
Is that Priya Dandapani? All right, yeah.
Oh, that's fine. You can go ahead, Priya.
No, Priya, I called you. I'll call her. I'm going to call her Priyadarshini any which way. So you go ahead, and then next she'll be in the queue.
Right. Yeah. So, very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Priya Dandapani. I'm Senior Director, Software Engineering in Sabre. I currently lead the entire Radix platform, which is a low-cost carrier, one of the companies that we acquired way back in 2019. I have teams working out of India and in the US. Prior to Sabre, I was with Amadeus, with IBM. I've had this fantastic opportunity of navigating across diverse organizations and diverse teams. I'm also the leader for the Women in Technology group here within Sabre, and I'm also the presiding officer for Posh.
Thank you, Priya. Priyadarshini.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and good to be interacting with you in the session. So I'm Priyadarshini. I am the engineering director, and I'm accountable for all of supply chain that Tesco operates. So we do build a lot of forecasting applications using AI, enterprise services, a lot of heritage systems as well. Passionate about people, and been with Tesco for the last 16 years. I also am the sponsor for diversity and inclusion for the Tesco Bangalore campus. So that's a little bit about me, and glad to be meeting the other women leaders as well.
Thank you, Priyadarshini. Srilata?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Srilata Kulkarni, and I come with over 18 years of experience in the IT industry, a decade of which I've spent at Merck, and I have my good reasons for that. Um, I had data warehouse and data analytics and financial planning and consolidation team at Merck. It's an absolute pleasure to be part of this panel discussion today on the topic Women Developers Things Matters for Career Growth, right? I also want to thank TechGig for bringing us together to explore and address a topic which is of immense significance in the world of technology and software development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shrita. I think I'll come back. I'll have to come back with this round of introduction for Shelja once she's back with us here on the panel. Meanwhile, I would like to start with the questions that I have, for each one of you according to your expertise and the kind of experience that you hold. Now, Deepika, I'd like to start with you. Please help us understand what is the power of diversity, inclusion, and equity in the tech industry, and how are these being leveraged to provide equal opportunities to women, especially abled or the LGBTQ plus members?
Sure. Diverse and inclusive environments today are a must-have for every organization. So this undoubtedly fosters organizational growth, but it doesn't stop there, right? So even the workforce of this generation is measuring and evaluating every organization on its culture and diversity to make a decision whether to come on board or not. So it is now imperative for talent acquisition too. In the context of tech industry, underrepresentation of women has been a pressing issue for quite a few decades now. The scenario in a field like AI, which I work in, is even worse. Right? But the first step to solve any problem is accepting that the problem exists and arriving at a consensus that it needs to be solved. Organizations today recognize and acknowledge both the gender imbalance and also the lack of diversity in other forms too, especially in leadership positions. And every organization has a customized framework for implementing diversity and inclusion initiatives and have several levers in place for bridging this gap across all functions, not just technology, but all functions as well, right? So bringing in diverse perspectives to the table helps any organization make more informed decisions. And also, as per McKinsey's report, organizations with strong diversity are 25% more likely to outperform their competitors. And just as an example, Honeywell, for instance, has a Women Leaders Forum for preparing women for executive leadership positions. And we have mentorship programs available across the organization. There are platforms for people to reach out to anyone in the organization requesting for mentorship. We also have informal speed mentoring sessions being conducted every now and then. We have dedicated women in tech forums in every region across the globe, including those which are specific for data science and AI also. And a lot of women in early career stages leverage this platform. And also these platforms are internally as well as externally focused. We actively engage with the external ecosystem, be it academia, startups, research institutes, policy making bodies, and so on for sharing our knowledge and experiences. So this helps bring together communities with shared interests, both from within and outside the organization, so that they can learn from each other. But diversity is not only about gender, right? So there are also many other dimensions to it. And it is heartening to see organizations address all those other aspects as well today.
Yeah. Okay, so Deepika, a quick question here. Do you think in the current scenario, normally when we talk of mentorship, when we talk of role models within the organization, also, as you mentioned that there are programs which offer women, mentorship. Do you think women are more hesitant to ask for help in terms of their career and skills and everything when it comes to their workplaces?
Yeah, so that definitely was the case, I would say, probably till the near past. But recently we've been seeing that women are actively engaging in these forums and looking out for mentorship, looking out for opportunities for them to engage not only internally but externally as well. And there are quite a few forums like the Women in Data Science by Stanford University globally, and there is Grace Hopper Celebration. So multiple such forums have been in place now for, especially for this purpose, right? So since women need that push, so there are enough number of opportunities and forums that exist today for women to leverage.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Deepika. Now, moving on to the next one, Priya, I'll come to you. Since our, of course, event is focused on women programmers, help us understand that what are the challenges women developers normally face in the current setup of our workplaces, and if there are any scopes of improvement one can look at, and what are those areas that one should look at? Priya, can you?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
So, first of all, I think this is a fantastic question, right? Just a little bit of background. So when I started my career, I started as one of the junior developers, right? In those days, the C++ programming languages. And I've had this opportunity of, growing up in a leadership position. So I think this is one of those questions which is very, very relevant to even where I come from, right? So some of the challenges that the women programmers face today, I think number one, which is not just unique to the programming background, but generally for women, is that women are underpaid, right, when compared to men, regardless of me doing more so it is even higher when we actually look at programming skills, because when we hire programmers, they often come with great qualification, great experience, and fantastic skills, right? So we do expect everyone to be treated the same way, even from a compensation perspective. I want to quote one of my personal experiences. Just few years back, I had one of my managers. This is something that I realized very late, how compensation can even vary across various genders, right? One of the managers came up to me and the manager said, "Hey, you know what? You're actually underpaid when compared to your peer. Though you do the same job, though you spend the same number of hours, though you're at the same CLP or the role, you're actually underpaid." So the very fact that the manager even recognized this to be a problem, looked at the data, and came back and created a plan, I think goes a long way, right? And I think we really need these kind of leaders as we women also take leadership positions. This is something that we all need to be cognizant of, that whenever we are giving a promotion or a hike, to be very neutral, not look at the gender or the background, but rather look at the skills and the value that the individual is bringing into the table, right? Challenge is, as such, I think, Shukriti beautifully called it out. One of the biggest challenges is also that we don't have a lot of role models, right? So as we speak, women make only 28% of the workforce in STEM today. And predominantly, when you look at computer science, engineering, I think I'm hearing some background noise. Can all of you go on mute? Mine?
Priya, your voice is also, fading in between. It's sort of
Oh,
not coming in a very standard way. So,
okay. Is it better now?
yeah,
When you lean forward, it's better, Priya. So lean forward and talk.
yeah.
Okay. So the other challenge is that we don't have a lot of role models, right? And even if we look at the women in the leadership positions, especially at a C-suite level, only 3% of the women make all the way up to CEO when it comes to STEM jobs. So overall, there is a challenge in terms of having women representation in the technology world as well as in the leadership world. So platforms like TechGig provide great opportunity where we all can take inspiration from each other, right? I'm really excited to see all the women leaders here and probably a lot more brilliant people who are there as attendees, but I think we need to leverage platforms like this where we all can learn from each other, draw inspiration, and then start setting up the pillar for the next generation to come, right? One of the other challenges also, if we go back, and I often observe this, right? How many of you have noticed the executive assistants for VPs, SVPs, CTOs, CEOs, right? Predominantly they are all women, right? Receptionists in every company, right? They are women. So the gender bias does exist because there is a stereotype that women are really brilliant when it comes to non-technical job, right? Women are great when it comes to planning, taking notes, coordination, socializing, right? So people usually prefer women for these kind of jobs. So if you are a techie and you're really doing well, my sincere recommendation is don't give up because this is a niche area where we really need more and more brilliant women, right? Very often we also see that, when women engineers go on maternity leave, typically they switch to a non-technical job, right? Because the technical role is far more pressurizing for them when they go through the maternity, the leaves, and then taking care of a young baby. So I think now that we are all talking about women in technology, it is more important that we maintain our role within the engineering organization and also stay relevant in the industry. As we speak, there are a lot of technology. I think Deepika spoke about AI. There is Gen AI coming up. There is a lot of stuff that is evolving. So I think it's important for women to also stay relevant in the industry, learn ourselves, grow ourselves, not just from the technology, but also from the soft skills, right? One of the reasons why we are really struggling when it comes to the compensation, not struggling, but rather not doing that well in compensation is because we're also not that great when it comes to negotiation skills, right? We often accept things as it is, and we hesitate to ask a little more or really fight for what you're really worth for. So these are certain areas where we need to constantly improve on our own. So those are some of the challenges, but I definitely think a lot of organizations have moved forward where IND is a top priority. For example, for Sabre, inclusion and diversity is one of the top priority for us, right? We have an IND officer sitting in the US who is driving the IND program. This is not just from a women in tech or a women career network or LGBTQ, but it also has the Black population. So we have a lot of, there is, veteran community. So there is a lot that's kind of happening within the whole IND space. So we have far more matured, but there is still a lot more way to go. So if you are a programmer, my recommendation is start creating that social network, which can actually offer that support for you. Your social network can be family members, it can be your peers, it could be external forums, it could be forums like TechGig, it could be people who are speaking in TechGig, it could be the attendees, but leverage these forums where you can come up, and sometimes when things are really overwhelming and you want to share your thoughts and often ask for recommendation, these social networks really help. If your companies have women's forum, be an active participant in these forums. I know all of us are bombarded with our day-to-day job. You have your releases, you have your customer calls, you have outages, you have incidents, there are cutovers. But as you grow within the organization, it's really important that you spend some amount of time in these forums where you can also learn and also others can learn from you. I'm really excited to learn from all of you. So I think, please leverage these forums, please attend more conferences, more workshops, start upskilling yourself. That's my suggestion.
Thank you so much, Priya. I thought I'll ask you a question here, but you've defined these things in such beautiful manner from your experience and the kind of elements that you've added in here. But I would still like to know that, what was your first major breakthrough in your current organization or in your past organization that you've had where you felt that, you've proven the worth of all the hard work that you've put into, making your career and yourself as an individual?
I mean, I wouldn't say there was one particular breakthrough, but it is a gradual progression right? The platforms that you are offered to, the opportunities, from how you start working on technologies, and how you develop those skills of working in any product, any software, regardless of what tech stack it is, right? So I think for me, it wasn't really a breakthrough, but just kind of gradual progressions. And of course, moving into different organizations has given me varied perspectives, in terms of how organizations look at things, how organizations execute, why does this company do this so well, and how do I bring that here, and how do we improvise some of the processes that we actually have, right? So I think that's how my journey has been, Shukriti. I don't know, maybe there is a breakthrough waiting, but at least so far, it's been very gradual. And
good luck for that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Priya. Now, since you've outlined the challenges as well as the scopes of improvement, now let's move further and talk about the kind of strategies or the decision making that the industries are being implemented and we are looking at. Priyadharshini, I would want to move to you for this. That what are the strategies being implemented for inclusion and growth within the industry these days? And if you could just use some references and help us understand this in a more detailed manner.
See, different organizations are doing different things, and like Deepika and Priya already pointed out, organizations have realized the importance of just not diversity and inclusion, but equity as well, right? Equity is very different from equality. Equity is realizing, hey, people have come from different backgrounds, somebody have had advantages and somebody have not, and providing that stepping platform for people who need that help. Yeah. So organizations have realized that, because it's just not important for the personal growth of all diverse groups, yeah, be it women, candidates with disability, LGBTQ+, whatever the diverse aspects are. But we all also need to understand that these are all really important for us to do better for our customers, for the economic independence and financial independence of women, for the overall growth of the economy, for the country's development, so many different aspects, right? Which is why this is really important. Now, many organizations actively drive mentorship. Some organizations have gone beyond that and said, okay, mentorship alone is not sufficient. We need to sponsor women or different diverse groups. Yeah, sponsorship is different from mentoring, where it's not that you're lowering the bar. Yeah, sponsorship doesn't mean lowering the bar. The bar is still the same. But actively helping the person and talking about people you need to help in different forums so that they see growth and movement. We actively do that, especially for senior levels at Tesco, but many organizations follow this. Okay, it's not only specific to Tesco. Then the second strategy that many organizations follow is enroll all these diverse groups, engage with them, build communities around them, and then support them. Yeah, be it the women in technology, which is where we have the challenge, right? Because women in STEM in itself is a little less, as Priya was pointing out. Getting them to help themselves rather than you just offering help. For example, things like circles, lean in, and women in tech groups where people can come learn their own different things and go away. So communities of help, we just need to organize, build, and support those. The next one is increased transparency. So many organizations have started publishing the diversity data, right? When the problem is not very apparent to you, you won't go about fixing it. Only when the problem is played back to all of us in terms of data. So we publish at all directors level. We do publish and say, hey, this is your different diversity numbers. Are you happy with it? We don't host numbers. We ask them the question, are you happy with it? Then the self-realization kicks in saying, oh, is it really this bad? I need to do something about it. Yeah, that's one. And then we do, of course, monitor and hold people accountable, asking them, what are you going to do about it? Now, specifically for women, many organizations are now actively getting into the attraction mode. When you see attract, right, a little bit of branding, and women ourselves, employees and colleagues themselves are the brand ambassadors for the organization. So if I'm going to go step in and say, hey, I see Tesco as a really warm, equitable employer. That's the brand you build, right? So that's something that companies are actively doing. So I would encourage women to use this opportunity. Go out and please do attend the TechGig fair by times. They do it over and beyond their regular jobs, right? That is to help women. So attend it, look at what's there, look at what companies are offering, because trust me, you are in demand, right? Your capability, strength is what we all need. So please do attend that. Look for diversity meetups, and many companies organize that. So please do attend that. And then what we are trying to do, Shukruti, and I'm sure many companies are doing this as well, there's a talent list we identify. We have talent lists, but the women talent list gets a little more special attention. Again, not lowering the bar, it's the same bar, but can we offer them women in leadership coaching, different aspects of it. Networking, can we help them network, all those, yeah, sell your own story. So things like that. For example, at Tesco, we made entire population participate in a hackathon that was only targeted at improving diversity and inclusion. And that also helps get in your visibility on diversity and inclusion across the organization, right? And then a lot of developed programs that people before me spoke as well, building career plans. Policy review is very important. All organizations are doing it. Again, just not for example, I'm saying a few things that we are doing. Inclusive benefits. Could be a good crash, could be fertility leave, could be giving paternity leave for men, right? Some of those we actively sponsor so that, women can then get back to work. And it's just not the women who need to babysit and do all that. Adoption leave, right? And again, a lot for disability as well. How disability confident are we all as organizations? We challenge that, we raise the bar on that, and we make sure we meet some standard on being disability contribution. And again, we all look at our insurance very actively. Gender reassignment, fertility treatment, special insurance policies for specially able. So I can go on. There's a lot more that organizations are doing. So if women in this group specifically need to aspire for more, if your organizations are not doing some of these things, please step up and ask. It's not that you should step back. You can be part of the change. And moving to senior roles doesn't mean it's difficult. You just need to manage your time intelligently. Yeah, Priya also touched upon that point. Upskill, set aside time for yourself in your calendar. And I learned this from one of my boss. As I became senior, he told me, hey, Priya, you're not going to be pulled. Yeah, you have talent and you were pulled up to a certain level. As you become senior, ask for it if you think you meet the caliber. Right? So I would encourage all women in this group to do that as well. Of course, organizations are doing various things, but it is in our hands to take control of our destiny. So those would be my inputs.
Thank you so much, Pradarshini. I think you've also laid out
Shukruti,
the whole foundation.
Want to add something,
Yes,
if I can.
Please do. Yes.
Priyadarshini, great points, right? Just wanted to add two inputs. So when organizations are doing these hackathons, right, we know that there is a lot of excitement, a lot of curiosity within the hackathon, right? And probably a lot of people participate in that. And what we noticed is typically when these large hackathons are being planned and executed, sometimes women step back, right? Because their chances of being in the top 3 places, is not very high, right? So, but what we tried is we tried different things. So what we started doing is we pulled in some of the senior women out there and we said, okay, here is a senior woman. She's going to drive hackathon. The moment they actually saw a woman driving a hackathon, automatically the number of participants boosted, and the top 2 participants who won the prizes were women. They were women only team, right? I mean, just an observation how women perceive these hackathons. Secondly, what we started doing is, because we understood that, okay, the chances for women to win the competition is, not very high because of the large population and because of the minority that we are, okay? We started doing coding events only for women, right? So we do this exclusively for women, and you just can't believe the amount of excitement that it creates, right? Because it is for women, we know that for sure, the chances of women winning is high. Of course, there are like, different flavors to this. Not all organizations behave the same way, but I thought I'll just share how women really look upon these events, right? The moment there is a women standing out there, it makes a huge difference for them.
We need to do that. Brand ambassadors, agree.
Absolutely, Priya. And the whole idea of coming up with a women-centric coding competition was this, because we wanted to encourage more people. Normally, I think 2 years prior to starting TechGig Goddess, we started TechGig Code Gladiators, which is like a common coding competition. Now there we saw the decline in participation of women, and to encourage their participation, we have, we introduced a special award that, you're the coding diva in the code, code gladiators, where everybody else is participating and everything. But still, we don't see that much of, interest, and because this is all about a mindset, right? When you assume things, then you sit back, right? That you will not be able to make it. And once we started, engaging with women techies through Techie Geek Orders, I think we saw some tremendous results in terms of, engaging, in terms of them asking questions, in terms of our winners talking about so many things, right? So I think maybe a step-by-step thing that all of us are trying to put our foot into, and lead through the forefront of letting women do what they really deserve. But thank you so much for adding your insights, Pradarshini. Thanks a lot. I will now move to Shelja. So sustainability is one of the most talked about things these days. And if I want to correlate it with the whole establishment of, organizations carrying the legacy of diversity, inclusion, and equity going forward, Shelja, I would want to know from you that as leaders of growing organizations that we all are, how can we foster the entire diversity, inclusion, and equity for the next generation? Because it's very important to have that perspective out there. And if we don't really, put through our efforts right now, I think we'd be losing on to leaving that legacy for the next generation.
Thanks, Sukriti. It's really a very important question that right now we are doing something, but how this legacy can be carried forward. Before I jump to the organization in the workplace, the point that I want to make here is that this diversity and inclusion, the unbiased, unconscious biasness that is existing today, is existing from a very long time, and it has come into as a part of the societal challenge. So before we jump to what we can do at the workplace, I would like to bring the focus back to the basics. This particular change that we need to bring in the society has to start right from a very early age, where the girl child has to be encouraged to participate in the technical competitions. We have to give them sufficient opportunity where they can explore the STEM areas. And this, as a parent, we have to give equal opportunity to the children, regardless of the gender. So, and this has to continue, this supportive environment has to continue throughout the schooling, as well as when they go into the higher education. Now, coming to another aspect, which I think Priya was talking about, was the household responsibility which the women has to shoulder. Currently in the society, it is like almost like 80 to 90%, which it is expected that the household responsibility will be handled by the women. So here a paradigm shift is required, where the partner also realize that if my wife has to grow in the professional and a technical field, she has to upgrade herself, she has to upskill herself, she has to give sufficient time, the changing technologies that are coming into picture, right? So how this can happen is only when they realize and the equal distribution of the responsibility within the household. Now, with this supportive system, then we come to the workplace, because unless and until women is free of the free to take up the challenges in the technology area, to upgrade herself, upskill herself, to maintain that work-life balance, we cannot move ahead, and she cannot think of how she can contribute into the bigger picture in the organization. Coming to the organization, as Priyadarshini has also said, there are mentorship programs that we have to, mentorship programs where women should be given some safe space where they can share their ideas with the professionals, professional experts, and then we have to build in that confidence that they can do it. So this kind of imposter syndrome, I'm not sure we have not talked about it, but then this all is leading gradually to the imposter syndrome, which we were talking about, that because of this biasness that is existing, the kind of a toxic culture maybe that we have in the environment, which is leading to them to think that, oh, I cannot do it. Just that Priya said that people did not participate in the codeathon because they felt that we will not be able to make it at the top. So this kind of imposter syndrome can go away with such kind of mentorship programs we can lead in the organization. Then I think again, some of you have already touched upon to enhance the professional network so that we can find the right role model whom we can look up to, we can share our challenges, we can learn from each other. And how this can be done is that women should be encouraged to participate in the technical conferences. They should be incentivized to take this rather. So they, not just as an audience, but as a speaker, as a presenter. So this all is going to enhance their confidence, and they can look forward to come up. They can use the role models so that looking at them, they can try to achieve what the other leaders have achieved. Besides that, I mean, this is the last point that I want to make here is we have to give an open communication. We have to keep an open communication in the organization. We have to encourage that, because unless and until there's an open communication, the need is that women will not come forward. So in some of the organizations, there are many of the D&I initiatives that my colleagues have been talking about. So in our organization also, ever since the D&I initiative has started from for some years now, so there we talked about the equity promotions here. We have talked about the rationalization of the pay grades in the organization, and many such policies that have come into picture. And now with this awareness within the women that is increasing day by day on the D&I initiative, I think this is going to foster the technology part of it, the need, and this will infuse the enthusiasm of the in the women to participate more in the technical fields.
Thank you, Shelter. I think we are working on a lineage, right? Right now, whatever we are creating, that lineage has to be, moved forward in order to have, more scopes. The kind of improvement that we are speaking of now has to be accomplished in the coming time. So that assurance and that approach is very important. So I think, of course, addressing the basics is of the utmost, importance. But at the same time, what we're doing right now has to be a little more aggressive in terms of, how we're taking it up. So I know all of us are trying, and we are doing our best to leverage the opportunities to, of course, women coming up, utilizing the opportunity, asking for what they deserve. All these conversations sort of, help them encourage and find out their capabilities in the best possible way. Now, Shriyata, I would want to move to you. Let's talk about, so we've covered how the entire industry is working, how the strategies are being implemented. We also spoke of the sustainability and creating a lineage of the entire diversity, inclusion, and equity. When it comes to personal growth and development, I think that is a area which all of us needs to focus upon in order to even utilize the kind of opportunities that are being offered in the market. So how can women techies or programmers, let's just say, focus on personal growth and development? And if you could just throw some light onto what steps women techies or programmers and their workplaces can take to ensure the entire upliftment.
Thanks, Sukriti. I guess this is the right question at the right time. I see leaders present here have already covered some of the challenges women employees are facing and the strategies that organizations are driving to help the women employees in their career growth. I would like to now, share a structured approach that can help an individual to overcome these challenges and achieve their career growth. One must start by cultivating a positive mindset. That's the start. Be ambitious and set high goals. Be confident and start with self-awareness. I guess these are also the factors that matters to be successful. Keep assessing your strengths and areas of improvement. Be honest when we do that. Once you do this, now you have set your own path. Take control of your own development. That we call it as drive your own development at Merck. So your journey starts. Where do I start? Set career goals. Define a roadmap for achieving them. You can start by setting short-term, mid-term, and long-term objectives. Keep, assessing those regularly to keep that focus and motivation on. Now, invest in continuous skill development. Like the leaders mentioned, embrace the online courses, attend workshops, take the certifications, stay up to date with the latest technologies, and do not restrict yourself to technical skills only. Look into the soft skill trainings like communication, presentation skills, leadership, emotional intelligence. I guess these are valuable for career growth and progression into leadership roles. With this, build a strong professional network within and outside the organization. I guess, again, leaders present here have shared how to do that. Attend industry events, join women in tech groups like Shinomics example. You have a lot of women in leadership, women at IT groups in LinkedIn. Follow them. Attend the events organized by them. That will open doors of new opportunities for an individual. Now, when you know the goal, you are working on your upskilling, you have built a network, what's next? Seek out for mentors who can guide you through this journey, taking their inputs, advice, and the connections will definitely help you. Mentoring has played a significant role in my career journey. And what I felt is there are two factors to consider. One, be it a mentor or mentee. When you are being a mentor or mentee, ensure you do active listening and ensure you put an action on the feedback that you received. Do not hesitate, accept the feedback positively. Remember, it's for your own growth. Now you have prepared yourself well. What's next? Make your contributions and accomplishments visible. Create visibility for yourself. Ensure that your work is recognized and appreciated, and don't be afraid to self-promote, right? And negotiate for better projects, challenging projects, seek for good roles. You can prepare. You can really work towards the new role or the position that you're aiming for. Don't be afraid to do that. And be an advocate of diversity and inclusion in your workplace. Be part of the core teams of GNI or participate in the initiatives that is driven by the organization within and outside your company. That's how you will get to know the policies and the best practices that can foster an inclusive culture, right? Last, but the important one, to summarize the approach that I was talking for, is take care of yourself, your physical and mental health. It is essential because it's a sustained personal growth in the long run. It's not 1 year or 2 years. Ensure you pay attention to that. So these are some of the structured approach when it comes to an individual career growth planning and their journey, what can help. Now coming to the next question that you asked, right? How organizations can support women in tech in their career growth or journey. I guess from my experience being part of various initiatives of DNI at Merck, be it being part of the Women at IT Global Committee as a champion representing India, or I was a speaker for women in leadership at Women IT, driving the inclusive leadership workshop session across the globe. Now the recent one is I'm leading the LGBTQI plus ERG initiatives, part of DNI India at Merck. You know, from all this and being part of EES team, from all this, my experience, right, what I have observed, some of the best practices within Merck or that I have observed across the industries are inclusive policies. Implement inclusive policies that support women in tech. This was already covered by Priya, where she nicely highlighted policies to help women employees to balance work and personal life, giving remote working option, flexi hours, the crash facilities, the leave policies, what more. The second thing, develop and promote diversity and inclusion initiatives. Yes, organizations are doing really well. They start with employee feedback. That's the start. Forming a core team for each of the DNI ERG groups, be it gender parity, PWD, LGBTQ+, or caregivers, and ensure they have a clear vision and mission with a roadmap and a defined set of initiatives with the KPIs to see and ensure they attract, hire, and retain employees from diverse backgrounds. Also, right, when you are planning for the initiatives, especially for gender parity, DNI, ERG groups, ensure you cover training and development programs. That shouldn't restrict only for technical skills, upskilling, include also the leadership trainings and soft skill trainings. And organizations can support by establishing mentorship programs within organization, encouraging the senior leadership team and the management team to mentor the staff with a focus on diversity. Again, when it comes to policies, create a safe reporting mechanism so that women can face that, can ensure that they can address the harassments or the discrimination they are facing at an organization level and resolve those. Of course, regular review and adjust the salary structure, pay parity. Ensure we pay equal for the work that an individual is delivering. To add, encourage and support the formation of women networks within the organization. We see a lot of organization, like today we are connecting outside the organization, sharing our experiences to motivate and guide the women in tech to overcome the challenges and ensure they grow in their career growth, right? So ensure we have that within organization also that can provide a platform to share the experience and promote gender equality. And of course, the initiative should also cover a clear path of career progression within the organization, where they also work towards finding and grooming the competent and dynamic women leaders within the organization, building the leadership pipeline. Last, again, the most important thing that the planning team should consider would be conduct diversity and inclusion training to raise the awareness and educate employees on importance of creating inclusive workplace. It's only in such inclusive environment I feel women can thrive, advance, and make significant contributions. That's when they can be successful with the career growth plan or the journey that they have set for themselves. Thank you. With this, I'll stop and take any questions.
That was indeed a capsule that Srilata you created for from both the perspectives for us and for our audience. Thank you so much. I'll quickly have a look at the questions that our audience have dropped in. Also, to inform everybody, we are opening the forum for Q&A. You can go ahead, ask your questions to all our leaders sitting here. And to start with, I have a question from Supriya Vardhan. She says, how do you prioritize your work at home work and home and set up that time, we tend to do a lot of multitasking at the same time. So any tips, advices around time management? Yes,
Can
Priyadarshini,
I
please go
say
ahead.
that? um, uh, we are not superwomen. Yeah, we are women, and we need a good supporting framework around us. Especially if you're younger and have too many things to manage, please delegate. Pay, give away some of your salary for help. Yeah, invest. That's a good investment. Treat it like an investment on yourself. That was the most important advice that I had when I was growing up. I was trying to be the superwoman, and one of my female leaders said, "You're not." Yeah, delegate, be it your husband, household help, take a lot of help, and invest that time in your learning and support. And you'll have to set expectations with your organization as well, right? You cannot be this 24/7 working. So if there's dedicated working time, work. Ask for flexible working hours as well. That has worked. I've been there through nights on calls when it was needed. But when my son needed and has to be in the hospital, I'm with him, even if it is daytime. So be flexible, talk to your organizations, and even within the organization, see, you have to look at opportunities as what are your strengths, how can I apply for an opportunity even if I'm only a 60% fit. Remember, men will apply if they're a 60% fit, women will apply only if they're a 95% fit. So please don't do that. Yeah, if you think you're there and you're fairly there, 60-70%, grab opportunities, learn and move forward, and delegate things at home. If your child needs you, keep that with you, the rest you delegate, please.
Yeah, so
I
just
think
to
all of you
add,
can give a good round of financial advices also. Handling your own salary and your money. I think our next discussion should be on that front. Yes, Sheila, you were adding something. Please go ahead.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so
I guess
another
Priyadarshini has
aspect,
covered it.
go ahead, Srilata. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
thank
Deepika.
you.
Yeah, we'll come to you once Srilata is done. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Like Priyadarshini covered, you need to identify what is priority for you in work life and professional life, and identify the tasks that you see only you can do it, right? Time for your kid, for your family, your husband, for your work is something that you need to decide, and also ensure you talk to the support system that you have around, be it the help that you have or your in-laws, your parents, your partner, your kid. I talk to my kid. I tell what is important to me and when I can compromise on certain tasks that is related to my work and when it's priority for me to give time to him. So ensure the time that you take out is a quality time that you spend and that's priority and you feel, okay, that's the task that needs me. Others cannot do. That's something we'll have to do, delegate, like she said. And identifying and setting the priority is the first step towards that.
Thank you, Srilata. Deepika, please go ahead.
Yeah, so just to add, so there is this concept of compartmentalization, right, which that really helps a lot. So it is important for us to set aside time for work and also for other interests outside of work, right? So that really helps come back to work refreshed. For instance, I have diverse interests, like many of us, I'm sure, here would. And this whole concept of compartmentalization that I practice really helps me make time for everything, including work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deepika. So in the interest of time, I don't think we have any more important questions taken up, and I would like to close the session now. But before I do that, ladies, I would want to call out, yes, Priya.
Okay, I thought there are more questions. So just one input from my end, learn to say no, right? Indians are very bad at that, especially women are very bad at that. So at times there are unrealistic deadlines, customer commitments, but if this is something that you cannot deliver, you rather say upfront and say you need more time than commit to it and work backwards, right? And struggling to maintain the work-life balance. I think this is something that I've learned over time, and I do see that this is also a part of our culture. Yeah, just thought I'd share.
Thank you, Priya. Now, before I actually wrap this up and we sign off, I would like to have one closing remark from each one of you. So Deepika, let's start with you. Since we started the question and we started the conversation with you, one closing remark, one tip, anything that you want to share with our audience today.
So yeah, so like many of us pointed out here, right? There is a general notion that women are more suitable for non-technical roles, and this bias is extreme when it comes to data science and fields like AI. But this is actually not true, and I think we'll need to actively prove to the world that it is important to realize and appreciate the fact that skills and interests are gender agnostic. So would urge all the women here on the platform today to take some active step and maybe work towards it in the next maybe set a timeline, set a plan, which we are really good at. So really hoping to see more sponsorship, mentorship coming in from women, and also representation of women in the tech industry going forward.
Thank you so much, Deepika. Priya?
Hey, so I think we are all great when it comes to execution, right? Given a deadline, task A, B, C, D, I think we are all fantastic in getting that accomplished. But if you are someone who is a techie, a programmer who's thriving within your organization, my recommendation is try to be an innovator in your space, right? Find out that one thing that you do really, really well and come up with ideas where you can innovate, you can do things much faster. Probably you're taking a lot of time doing certain things manually. How do you automate that? As Deepika mentioned, right? How can you actually leverage data analytics, AI, right? So bring in those ideas, be an innovator, try to contribute to open source platforms today. Not many women, not many people contribute to open source, especially women. We don't. So that could be a great opportunity, right? And take credit for yourself. We are great, women are great, and giving credit to others. Hey, I did this because A, B, C helped me. No, right? You do it, you take credit, right? And I think that's something that is important for all of us to learn. And if you are aspiring to grow in your career, don't do everything yourself. Create a very strong successor, right? Who can definitely take up your work even when you're off, when you fall sick, someone who can actually keep the show running on. That's how you actually grow in your career.
Thank you, Priya. Priyadarshini?
All right, I'm going to be a broken tape recorder and probably repeat some of the important points. Concentrate on your strengths. Even if you're 60, 70% there, you are there. So please aspire for more. 16-year-olds don't mean it's difficult things. It just actually makes it easier, wise use of your time. Upskill and don't wait for to be pulled. Yeah, you push yourself. Learn, push yourself, be there. You are the best.
Thank you. Shailja?
I would say the continuous learning, whether it is a technology or the way you want to live your life. We have heard about our leaders talking about compartmentalizing your time, and it is actually very helpful. So these are some of the things that you can do to regain that confidence that yes, you can do it. And at that point in time, the another point is, which is very important, is as Priya was saying, that we have to tell the world that this is what we are and this is how we need to be accepted. We will definitely grow into great leaders. We have that capability. We just have to have confidence in ourselves, and we have to just go for what our heart says to do.
Thank you, Shailja. Srilata?
I would say be ambitious, confident, and have a structured end-to-end approach towards achieving your goals.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Srilata. Ladies, I am overwhelmed. I'm excited. I'm delighted with all the insights that you have shared. And I'm sure, our audience, our techies who are watching you today will be able to, relate themselves to every reference, every advice, every insight that you have shared with us. Thank you so much for taking out your valuable time and being with us on the show. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Sukruti, for your
Thank you,
beautiful
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you for inviting, giving us opportunity to be part of them. All the best to the coders out here for the competition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.